On this week's show, Archie meets Red Sonja and Vampirella, excellence, and our Sonic the Hedgehog reactions, which that pretty much sums it up. Spoiler alert. It's Previews World Weekly, and it's happening right now. What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday, it's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're here every week to remind you guys to stop at a comic shop and get involved in what's happening in the world of comics.
And hopefully you're experiencing some sort of post-free comic book day sugar high, hopefully.
Right.
But I didn't, I mean, I had to work on Free Comic Book Day, but I didn't really get to celebrate Free Comic Book Day. Like, not really. Like, I got to kind of handle the social media for a little bit, but you went out there.
I did.
You were in the trenches.
I was.
Where'd you go?
I went to Collector's Corner,
right?
Who I shouted out last week. And it actually so happened that I notified them that I gave them a shout out. And,
right,
Randy, the owner, was like, "Hey, do you know any cosplayers?" And I was like, "I am a cosplayer." But he needed folks to come by and sort of,
That was a trick question and you fell for
it.
Whatever.
Right. What a tragedy. I was going to be there anyway.
True, also.
So
right.
But it worked out. Yeah, we went down there and, drew the crowd in. We had some signs going on and waving to the folks coming down the street and pulled folks in to see what was up.
Yeah, all right. No, I love that. You're an ambassador. And you cosplayed as Wonder Woman.
I did.
A very particular Wonder Woman also.
Well, so this is not even like 90% of what's going to happen with this costume, but this is sort of like iteration 1.0.
Right. It's Mark 1.
Yeah, Mark 1. Yeah, Mark 1 Wonder Woman for Thea.
Right.
But yeah, if I had the full costume that I'm going to be making, I would have been very uncomfortable because it was actually surprisingly warm out there.
It's more like an armor, right?
Yeah, it's got armor and long sleeves and stuff. Like there's a whole lot of layers going on. So
I can never remember. Is it New 52 Wonder Woman or is it 52 Wonder Woman or is it? It's not the Rebirth Wonder Woman.
I honestly don't.
I can't remember.
know.
I think it's New 52.
I know that it's the illustration by David Finch.
Right. Yeah.
So,
right. We mentioned Sonic earlier. We got to talk about this. We actually meant to talk about it last week because technically the trailer dropped when we were recording.
Yeah.
But you saw the trailer.
Ouch.
As our resident gamer, like, how do you feel? What are your feelings on this?
I mean, I love Jim Carrey, first off.
Yeah, right.
I'm pleased that they picked him for that role.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it just works in my mind.
Yeah.
He's very goofy, he's very silly. But Sonic's design,
it's a little weird, yeah.
Nobody has been happy with it.
No.
Nobody.
Right, yeah.
And I think that, I don't actually know if this is true, but they said that they're going to go back and change the design.
Yeah, right. They're pulling on Alita, because when Alita Battle Angel came out, like everyone was like, this is creeping me out, and everybody's like, Uncanny Valley, like that sort of thing.
Well, Uncanny Valley was brought up with Sonic too.
Right, and then they went back and fixed it before the movie came out.
Actually, I mean, Alita should have been a little Uncanny Valley. She was supposed to be a little weird looking.
It was a very subtle change. So like it kind of still worked out in the end. I'm very curious what they're going to do with the Sonic version. Like, is he going to?
Well, just
they'll probably just make him more classic.
Make him classic, make him the cartoon. I don't know why they made him like. They pushed him a little too humanoid.
Right. Yeah.
And like he needs the sort of disproportionate.
Yeah, he needs the anime
stuff.
eyes.
Yeah, he needs the anime eyes, he needs the skinny limbs. Somebody redesigned it themselves on the internet and they were like, this is what it should look like. And we were all like, yes, it is, actually. You're correct. But I kind of wonder, like, I get like, so Detective Pikachu's coming out this summer. And like, it's live action, and I kind of get why that's live action, because it kind of plays off the Pokemon Go thing. Yeah. But this, I'm like, why isn't this animated? Yeah.
It should just be animated.
It should be.
It's a little weird.
It doesn't necessarily make sense. But it's the trend right now, make all the cartoons live action.
Right, yeah, you got Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and all that stuff.
Disney's doing it, why not everybody else?
Well, they keep running into this problem where it's like, you turn these things into like, you make these things realistic, and like people have this moment like, ugh.
Yeah.
Or
they have expectations and they're,
Right.
Whatever.
Somebody should learn, but I guess not. It's Hollywood.
Moving on.
Moving on. Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yes.
The trailer dropped earlier this week. And actually, officially, the spoiler ban is over. Like, according to our spoiler ban is over because, according to the Russos, it ended Monday. And probably because the trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home came out. But
a couple theaters apparently accidentally played it and started playing it in front of a bunch of movies. Friends of mine were like,
and they
cut them off. Because they were like, oh no, we didn't mean to do that. So yeah, exactly.
That was like if you were going to see Endgame for the first time and then that happened. Oh, that would suck.
Yeah.
So we're going to spoil. I say all that because we're going to spoil some of Endgame. It's been a week. Johnny's seen it by now, so I can't feel bad anymore.
We've all seen it twice.
I've seen it twice.
You've seen it twice.
We've all seen it twice.
We've all seen it twice. There you go. The multiverse. That's a big drop. Like, that's a huge deal. And I kind of find it funny that Marvel beat DC to it, because DC's thing is the multiverse. Like, that's kind of like that was their thing initially, but the idea that the Thanos snap caused like a ripple effect through the universe, and now, I mean, that opens up so many possibilities.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Which, of course, they did on purpose, because now they have to have more possibilities if they want to continue the MCU, right? So.
Yeah, and I mean, like, God, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, I mean, all this stuff is possible now, and like, it's interesting because I feel like sometimes Marvel Studios pays attention to online chatter in some regard. Like, and
of course they do.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
they
have to.
Age,
right. But I think they pick up on somebody's fan theories sometimes, and like, because
some of them are probably like, ooh, that's a good one.
Right. You know, because I mean, like, especially the way Endgame like closed out, it's like some of these are so near perfect that it's like, come on. So I mean, respect for that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And of course, I love Spider-Man. I love this new iteration of Spider-Man, and this movie looks like fun.
Absolutely, yeah. Kind of like, it makes an old nerd in me kind of like uncomfortable that he's like pining over Tony Stark so much instead of Uncle Ben at this point. But I get it.
Dude,
I get it.
He's been pining over Uncle Ben for so long.
I get it. And I had to have that conversation with myself. I was like, you know what? We've seen this before. I understand it. It doesn't mean that Uncle Ben does not exist. You know, it's just.
We're moving on from Uncle Ben.
We're moving on from Uncle Ben. It just makes the continuity in my head go like, you know.
Seen Uncle Ben die so many times.
So many times. No, that's true. But no more movie talk. This is a comic show.
It's true.
So Anime is here, and she's going to show us some of the titles that are available at your local comic shop today for New Comic Book Day.
What's up, Previews World? Mia here, and I'm going to give you a look at some of the new titles in store this week. Here's what's at comic shops. For more info on these titles and others, head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases.
That's some of the titles available this week at your local comic shop. You can see the full list by heading over to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases. But more importantly, Thea is going to tell you what you should read, and I'm going to tell you what you should read, because these are our picks this week. What is your first pick?
Excellence #1 is out, and this is from writer Brandon Thomas and artist Carrie Randolph. Kari Randolph. I'll
tell you about that later. So that's a whole other thing. But go ahead.
So this is about a secret society of black magicians. So there's a young magician named Spencer Dales, and he's supposed to follow in his father's footsteps. But he sort of sees this system as a broken system and not actually working for what they want to have happen. So he's going to fight for a better future, but he's not sure if there's going to be anybody backing him up on it, because they're sort of entrenched in their ways. But it seems really cool. You know me, I love my fantasy stuff.
Right. So this is right up your alley. You know, it's actually, the thing I find interesting about this is, like, typically when you see magic stuff with black characters, it's voodoo related. And this is kind of taking more of like an expansive view of it, which I find kind of interesting. I'm very curious how they're going to tackle that, or like if voodoo kind of plays into it or not.
Right, if it
I get
an aspect of it.
You know, like, I mean, I get it. Culturally, it makes sense. Like, I understand why you would do that, but it's a different take. It doesn't have to be, right. So it's very interesting. Also, a little cautionary tale here. I called Kahari Randolph in a video. He let me know that was not okay.
I'm not sure how you managed to pronounce it that way.
He was, well, you know, it's his Twitter handle. I'm gonna defend myself right now because I got like a lot of flack for this from not Kari, but like a bunch of other people. Like his Twitter handle says, very specifically, because I imagine people pronounce it all the time wrong.
Incorrectly.
Kari, like Atari. So in my mind,
Nice.
I said Kahari,
Oh,
like
Atari.
Yeah,
Womp,
right, fart
womp.
noise.
You tried. Where's
So,
the cake?
My bad.
You tried.
You tried, throw in the trash.
Yep.
So my pick this week, Symbiote Spider-Man #2. I picked #1 like a few weeks ago. I actually got a chance to read the first issue. It's Peter David. And like, for those of you who are not familiar with Peter David, he's the guy who gave us the Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, he's the reason like there's a Smart Hulk in Avengers Endgame. And his version of Professor Hulk was actually kind of my introduction to that character. Now, this isn't the Hulk, of course, this is Spider-Man.
Right.
But it takes place in, like, I want to say the 80s, but comic book time kind of works kind of weird. But it's important because it's about him wearing the symbiote costume, which is in the title.
Right.
It's also him fighting Mysterio. We were talking about Far From Home earlier. I think what we're going to see here is kind of like something happening between Peter slowly recognizing that the symbiote is a problem, and it also becoming a problem for both him and Mysterio as well. So I'm very curious about that.
I like that.
We get some cool throwback stuff, like it factors in like Black Cat, who was like his boo at the time, you know, and how like she was kind of like repulsed by him when she found out Peter Parker was Spider-Man, and so there, there's just like a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little throwback if you're not familiar. And also,
love that.
Peter David wrote for Spider-Man during that time, so it's pretty authentic.
That's really cool.
What else are you looking forward to?
Samurai Jack Lost Worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like really excited. I loved Samurai Jack growing up. I used to like doodle him on all of my notebooks and stuff. So it's from IDW, of course, and we have Paul Allor and artist Adam Bryce Thomas. And it's just sort of expanding on the Samurai Jack universe. We've got essentially a doppelganger Samurai Jack in a sense that has been leading a very peaceful existence in this one society, and everything's in line with his philosophies and his storied stoicism. And this is news to actual Jack, who's like, what's going on here, my guys?
Right.
So he has to sort of figure out how to, differentiate with society here. Like, I'm actually Samurai Jack. What's this guy doing? How
right,
are you?
And why is he all peaceful?
Strange. Yeah, that too.
That's
suspect. Suspicion.
Right.
So yeah, but
Cool.
I love Samurai Jack. So
I gotta admit, confession time. I never watched Samurai Jack.
Watch it.
I never watched it.
It's good.
It's one of those things like I know I would love it.
You would.
And I found out like last year, I think it was, that like time travel's involved. So I'm like, oh man, I would really love this.
It's got time travel. It's got really great characters. The art is mind-blowingly gorgeous.
And I like Jenny Tartakovsky too. So yeah. Just do it. I need to watch it. I do. It's like I know I'll like it. Like it's just like hands down.
No
easy.
way you won't.
Easy sell.
What else you got?
Speaking of Asian characters beating the crap out of each other, The Raid. Have you ever seen The Raid, the movie?
No.
So it's just an orgy of stunts and brutality. And there's 2 of them. There's supposed to be 3 of them, but I loved it. Yeah. Like it's just a showcase of what people can do. That's all it really is.
Bring it on.
And it just so happens that Titan is doing a book that is like takes place during the second movie, and I'm very curious about it because like I want to see how they're going to translate that. The brutality and the choreography and all that stuff to page.
Right.
And like I can't recommend The Raid enough. Like and everybody should watch it.
I'll check it out.
So and I know you do martial arts too.
Yeah.
So like you should check it out.
Absolutely. Very cool.
What else can people look forward to?
We
this
have
week?
Red Sonja and Vampirella meet Betty and Veronica #1.
Yes, we do.
We've talked about this before when they announced it, and I'm like, again, really excited about this crossover because I love Red Sonja and Vampirella.
Yeah.
So putting them in the world of Archie is very fun to me.
Perfect, yeah.
Of course, writer Amy Chu, artist Maria Sanapo. So we have a string of paranormal unsolved murders that lead Vampirella and Red Sonja to Riverdale, where they meet Betty and Veronica, who are investigative reporters for the high school newspaper.
Of course.
And so all of them are hot on the trail of the killer. And yeah, it's just fun.
I love how like everything in Riverdale can be solved by someone in the school,
right?
And like whatever random task they're doing, that just kind of seems to be always a thing. I love that. We're actually going to do an Archie versus Everyone video later in the month. Gretchen's going to host it, and it's just about books like this: Red Sonja and Vampirella. There's TMNT. There's Kiss, so that'll be a lot of fun for people. What I was going to ask you actually, I was going to ask you this off camera. I'm going to ask you this on camera. What do you think of Vampirella's costume? And the reason I asked this is because...
In general?
In general.
I mean, it's classic. She's been around for a very, very long time.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So, I mean, she's one of those characters that I'm sure a lot of people are like, why don't you update her costume because it's 2019? But, like, it's her.
Right. I mean,
it's iconic.
But do a lot of people say, see, here's the thing, like, I was in a group yesterday, and there was a big back and forth, and it got a little controversial, I guess, about her costume. I just, I'm in your camp, and like, I was like, I'm gonna ask you, because you cosplay.
Yeah.
And like, I just like.
There are so many characters that way, though.
Right.
Like, there's Morgan Ainsworth from Darkstalkers, and like, you're gonna tell people that she should have a different costume, but it's her character.
It's her character. Right. I just, especially like on the heels of some of the Mortal Kombat stuff, and right.
Well, there actually have been some really fun updates to some of the Mortal Kombat stuff.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate them conceptually.
Right. Yeah,
but I don't find them necessary.
Yeah. Right.
Because the original stuff is from a different time, and you have to put it in context that way.
Yeah. I think that's the problem.
It's not always going to be PC or that sort of thing.
Yeah, I do. I completely agree. I think it's unfair to judge something based off something from the past based off of today's standards.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like, let it be in the past.
Yeah.
If we move forward,
I noticed there are a lot of Warner Brothers cartoons that now come with disclaimers.
Yeah.
Which I think is very cool, because that makes sense. Right. Like, you still want people to see the art, but you have to put it in the context. Right. So, like, all the sort of racist, sort of very, unfortunate stuff that happens in all those cartoons, they let you know at the very beginning, like, this is a product of its time, right? And so are these characters. They're a product of their time and how people were viewing these kind of characters then. Yeah. But you can still appreciate it.
All right. No, I completely agree. So I wanted your hot take on that. Because, I know, like, Shazam had the same problem. Apparently some of the older Shazam books are a little racist, and so DC won't reprint them for that reason.
It's inevitable.
Or I guess they're in public domain or something like that. So I just always find that fascinating.
Product of their time.
We
don't think that way anymore.
Right.
At least we very darn well shouldn't.
Which is a sign of progress.
Yes.
And that's kind of my big thing, too, is, like, you want these things to... You want a proof that we have progressed.
Exactly.
And like trying to get rid of these things doesn't really help.
No,
so.
you don't just sweep it under the rug like it didn't exist.
Right. Sorry, a little soapbox there, but I just thought that was interesting.
Fair
it just came to mind because we mentioned Vampirella. Yeah. But now it's time for news.
Yeah.
So Thea's going to take it away, and she's going to explain to us some of the stuff that's been happening in the world of comics the last 10 days.
Up in the sky, in the dark of the night, trust no one, for the Secret Six walk among us. Spinning out of the devastating events of DC's The Batman Who Laughs, Superman and Batman join together once more in an all-new monthly comic book. And they're facing a terrifying new threat that could strike from anywhere. Writer Joshua Williamson and artist David Marquez announced in an interview with THR's Heat Vision that DC's world's finest heroes will team up in Batman and Superman. To launch the new DC series, the first arc of Batman Superman will follow the two titular heroes as they hunt down 6 infected heroes in the DCU, people revealed to be infected by the Batman Who Laughs with a deadly pathogen that violently transforms them into the evilest versions of themselves. But before the Caped Crusader teams up with the last son of Krypton this August, DC will extend Scott Snyder and Jock's thrilling miniseries, The Batman Who Laughs, to a surprise 7th issue, highlighting the final showdown between Batman and the Jokerized version of himself. Batman Superman debuts August 14th.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Dark Knight's Metal has... They always do crossovers where they say this is going to have consequences, and like the thing is like it never does. But but Dark Knight's Metal was never really pitched that way, and it's actually bled out into the larger DC universe, which I think is kind of amusing. So good for them for making good use of that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Also, so cool.
If you've ever seen David Marquez's artwork, it's amazing. Like, it's so cool. I know that's like your thing. Like you zero on art. Yeah, that's good stuff.
For sure. Boom Studios, along with visionary writer and director Joss Whedon, presents the shocking reimagining of the pop culture phenomenon Angel. They've also now revealed the cover art for the upcoming debut. As Angel reunites with old friends and old spirits in Sunnydale, he comes face to face with a new demon, one set on destroying a generation that Angel is entirely unfamiliar with. Will Angel be able to adapt to this new kind of foe, or will he succumb to the demons of his dark and terrible past as Angelus? Following the journey of Angel through past and present, critically acclaimed writer Brian Edward Hill and artist Gleb Melnikov present a brand new modern take on one of the most iconic vampires in pop culture, perfect for fans and new readers alike. Angel #1 hits comic shops on May 29th. Classic.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm glad they're bringing it back. It's not something I ever watched, but vampires.
It's actually, I would imagine you would probably, based off of some of the other stuff you've like co-signed.
Yeah, I know that I would like it.
You would like it,
never managed to get around to it.
Right, yeah, I get that. I totally understand that.
Image Comics and Skybound Entertainment have fast-tracked The Walking Dead number 191 by Robert Kirkman and Charlie Adlard for a second printing in order to keep up with the customer demand for this game-changing installment of the long-running series. The Walking Dead number 191 hit stores on Wednesday and took fans by surprise with a shocking cliffhanger that's had everyone talking. In this issue, alliances are broken and all the trouble that's been brewing in the Commonwealth finally comes to a head. The Walking Dead 191's second printing will be in stores Wednesday, May 29th.
Nice.
And finally, the Star Wars family lost another member on April 30th, 2019, when Peter Mayhew passed away. The Chewbacca actor's family broke the news on May 2nd, stating that he died at home surrounded by family. He was 74. He became an integral character in Star Wars, playing one of the heroes in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. He appeared in the 1978 holiday special, had a role in 2005's Revenge of the Sith, and played his beloved character one final time in The Force Awakens. A regular on the convention circuit, Mayhew attended many fan events, meeting excited fans who gushed over their love for Chewie and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Major loss.
Major loss.
Even my mom messaged me about it.
Oh yeah, no, I bet. Like, I mean, that's a generational thing. Like, that's crossing a lot of different, like, you know, like different periods of fans.
For sure.
Yeah, I didn't know that he wasn't in Solo. I thought he was in, like, pretty much everything after Force Awakens.
Right. If Chewie's in it, it's him.
It's him, right? Yeah, I just assumed that. I actually reading about him during the week, like, you know, after he passed away. I thought it was interesting. Like, he was a hospital orderly.
Yeah.
George Lucas was going around looking for somebody who was like 7'5", and like they were in Europe. They were filming at the famous London studio. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, they couldn't find anybody. They were looking for basketball players. They couldn't find anybody. They found this guy who was a hospital orderly.
How funny.
And I thought it was funny because he stayed a hospital orderly all the way through the original trilogy. Yeah. Like, he didn't retire. He didn't like hang it up. He was just like, this Star Wars thing might not take off.
Yeah, well, he played it smart, right?
So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's very cool. I've also thought it's very cool that like conventions that are happening like right now, just after his passing, have turned his booth into a memorial.
Oh wow!
Where he was supposed to be doing signings.
He was supposed to be doing a show. Yeah.
So they set it up, you know, in memoriam, and you can come and you can write notes to him and give donations and stuff.
Wow,
it's just really cool. I think that's a great idea for them to do.
Yeah. I also saw like Battlefront did a thing, I think, the other day too. So yeah, no, you know, we always say their legacy's been laid out. Like, for a lot of people, he's always going to be Chewbacca. Yeah. So, you know, Godspeed, you know?
Absolutely.
So.
Very cool.
I also wanted to mention, like, Free Comic Book Day was this weekend, but it also marked the anniversary of Cards, Comics, and Collectibles, which is another local shop in the area. Yeah. And it just so happens that, like, it was their 35th. And I just want to give them a little shout out. Like, they're celebrating the 35th anniversary alongside Free Comic Book Day, so they did a bunch of discounts and give away food and, like, you know, all this other stuff. And I think it's cool that
35 years.
35 years. A lot of comic shops don't last that long, to be honest. So like 35 is really impressive.
Absolutely.
So I always try to like just pay it forward and just acknowledge the veterans of the industry. But we're going to kick it over to toys now. Natasha's going to show us some of the toys that are available at your local comic shop today, and then when we come back, we'll have a giveaway for you.
Hey Previews World, Natasha here, and I'm going to give you a look at some of the new toys and collectibles in stores today. Here's your Previews toy chest for the week of May 8th, 2019. And our new show, Talking Toys, has even more to offer, where we show you what hot new collectibles are on their way to your local comic shop. Check it out at PREVIEWSworld.com/talkingtoys. And as for me, I'll see you back here next week.
And plenty of cool stuff available at your local comic shop this week. You can discover more by heading over to PREVIEWSworld.com/toychess. But we're going to do our giveaway.
Yes.
And everybody loves Batman the Animated Series,
It's
right?
True.
Like, I think that's a universal
if you don't,
truth.
You're probably wrong.
You're probably wrong.
Because it's great.
So
I watched it a lot.
yeah, absolutely, like religiously, like every day at 4:30. But we're going to do a giveaway, so this should make a lot of people happy. What do we got?
We got
Hardak.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I did not see him in. I didn't know
You
who
don't
the heck
remember
this
that
was.
episode?
I don't remember this episode, apparently.
Yeah.
But Hardak stands for Holographic Analytical Reciprocating Digital Computer.
Of course it does.
Yeah. Naturally. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
So this was originally supposed to showcase AI and the
supercomputer, right?
the supercomputer,
Yeah.
and he decides to, become a Batman.
Right.
He's got a little flip-up Batman face.
Right.
It's great.
I always get this. I get this episode mixed up, and there's another one where there's like a silicon Batman, or maybe that's the same one. I can never remember. But like, yeah. Either way.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So, if you want to win this little Hardak right here, let us know on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching us. Tell us what your favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series is, and we'll take entrance until next week, and one of you will win Hardak here.
Nice, nice. I'm going to say right now, it's almost got him, but that's just me.
Of course, we also have last week's winner.
Yes.
Last week's winner of the DC Gallery Supergirl is Cassie Mad Zapper Wallace, who said that she'd be spending Free Comic Book Day at Cosmic Comics, Maximum Comica, and Alternate Reality, all in Las Vegas.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they're going for a triple threat. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam.
I really hope her name is Mad Zapper.
That's
Probably
a great
not,
name.
But I really hope your name is Mad Zapper.
Even if it's your chosen name. Good choice.
Actually, so speaking of Batman, speaking of DC, so last week when Ashton was on here, you both were gushing over the Dear Justice League artwork and the Free Comic Book Day book that was coming out. So we have the trailer. So check out the trailer for Dear Justice League, and when we come back, we'll throw you into the social swamp with us. Check it out. I know you're all about this.
It's so cute.
It is. It's very adorable.
And just beautiful.
Yeah, it does. Right.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, not to discredit the artist, but like it reminds me a little bit of Scotty Young.
Sure.
So if you love the Marvel Baby stuff, maybe you'll love this. I don't know. But now we're gonna do Social Swamp. But first, you mentioned something earlier, and I just wanted to kind of like give it a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
This cosplay of like what is it?
There's
It's
a cosplayer who cosplays SpiderMan,
Uh-huh.
and he goes to conventions with empty boxes of Uncle Ben's rice and lays them out in the form of Uncle Ben dead on the ground and then weeps beside him. And it is fabulous.
I love that. That is so great. Like Johnny can throw it up on the screen. I thought that was so hilarious. Like, yeah.
It's like when people take cosplays to the next level like that, and bring in puns or just make it just really make it extra fun.
Make it a little meta, bring in some jokes. Yeah, I love that. That's absolutely great.
Good. Yeah.
So it's time for Social Swamp. So let's pass over the weekend because it was Free Comic Book Day. We asked a bunch of I would consider regulars. Yeah. What are you reading? Because we've done this before, and we've gotten some good responses. So here's what you're reading. Here's Social Swamp.
So here's some responses we got from you guys out there. Daniel Moleon has said that he's on a Spider-Man kick. Miles Morales and Spider-Man Life Story are current faves. Very good. Definitely solid. Apologies if I say your name wrong. Kyle Reisner said, just one? When there are so many great ongoing titles? Gah, I'm going to recommend a creator instead. Jeff Lemire, between Gideon Falls and the various Black Hammer books, not to mention Ascender has just started up, continuing the amazing story we had in Descender. I could gush about Dustin Nguyen. David Rubin, Matt Kint, Dean Ornstrom, and Andrea Sorrentino all day, but I'll let their art speak for itself when you do the pleasure of picking up one of those aforementioned titles.
Nice.
Heck of a list.
Yeah, heck of a list.
And very good stuff. Marika Davis said, I really love the More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light Transformers comics. The writing is surprisingly clever and heartfelt. I love how the characters develop over time. I especially love the whole Cyclonus and Tailgate relationship. Very cute. Ronnie Dooley said, Venom and Immortal Hulk are the best ongoing series currently out. Donny Cates and Al Ewing are amazing writers and have kept me captivated in their stories. And then finally, Tony Maizano said, anything in the Black Hammer universe. Being on the ground floor of a new world is exciting, and each new book or series doesn't disappoint.
Nice.
A lot of great picks.
Yeah. Actually, I want to apologize to you in advance because one of the comments was some book that I can't remember right now.
Of course.
But it was because you suggested it on the show. So...
Here for you.
Right. So there you go. I mean, pat yourself in the back. I can't remember what the book was. But
I've got good taste.
There you go. I meant to include it in the social swamp, but I didn't. But yeah, but no, thanks for sharing and and actually just keep sharing. You don't have to do it just because it's Free Comic Book Day. You can do it any time of the year. Always
share with us everything.
Everything. Put in any video for Previews World Weekly. Let people know what you're reading because we're here to support comic shops. We're also here to keep you reading as well.
Absolutely.
Now, what? We're going to do a wrap up now.
Yeah.
We're pretty much done at this point.
End of the line, my friend.
End of the line. Oh. Sorry. Little post end game feels, I guess.
I'm gonna go see it again tonight.
Are you? I might go for 3 too. I'm not gonna lie. This is out of control.
My boyfriend and I decided we want to see it with as many people for their first time as possible.
Right. Yeah. I get that.
So we can see the reaction.
I went and saw it at the Smithsonian, the Air and Space Museum.
Cool.
And I didn't tell my buddy that I had seen it because I just wanted his genuine reaction. So yeah,
sneaky.
So
Very
and he
cool.
enjoyed it. So
Good.
there you go.
That's awesome. And of course, as always, we have our comic shop shout out. This week we're featuring Tales of Tomorrow in New Mexico, sent to us by Kirby Bennett. And of course, if you want to be featured on the show, let us know what your favorite local comic shop is. Use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS on social media, wherever you can find us, and we could shout you out on the show.
Yeah, and that's it for us this week.
Yeah.
Bye. No, I'm just kidding. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the spinner rack.
Watching Previews World Weekly. If you like the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.